Good afternoon, everyone. What's going on? Okay, so, oh man, no silence today. I'm just stretching a bit. What's up? What's up, everyone? Hold on. I'm gonna have a little slurp of coffee, and then I'll tell you guys what's going on. Oh, coffee is good. How's it going, guys? I'm playing Classic Warcraft. Do you mean World of Warcraft, or do you mean like Warcraft 1, 2, or 3? Because Classic could be many things. Yeah, the stream is like hours and hours late. I spent the past, let's say, 3 hours tinkering with my current setup. I wanted to change where the microphone, where the boom arm mounts to the desk. I wanted to change the location of that because I found that like the current location was kind of weird in terms of how the mic, the arm angled. I don't know, like the way my current setup is, it's like it's almost perfect. There's like three good mounting points, and one of them is directly in the way of a fan that I use in the summer, so that's no good. One of them limits the range of motion of the mic, and that's no good. And the third one, which is the one that I'm currently using, it no, I'm currently using the second one that limits the range of motion of the mic, and that's no good, but it's better than the alternatives. The third one, it actually the problem with it is that when it's in the right position, the mic is kind of bent in a weird angle, and I don't like it. There's like these are these are all minor problems, but I'm just like trying to figure out the perfect way to set this up, and there's like just like every way works, but there's like just one tiny deficiency in each of them, and it's like can't you just be right? Oh my god, my mother destroyed our porch this weekend with the truck by accident. Did she drive into it? So after I got the mic set up in the new location, and I think I'm going to stick with this one at least for a while, I wanted to redo the levels because I recorded a new video for Monday, and Dave came back and said that it sounded all wrong, and I'm like, okay, this, like, the room that I currently record out of isn't like sound treated or anything, so I have no fucking clue how to make this better. I mean, money will help, so if you can afford to do so, please support the channel. But with my current limitations, like I don't know what the fuck to do to make the video sound any better. So I spent a few hours just tinkering with my audio interface, tinkering with the mic location. I adjusted like the gain and the levels, and I put in some filters, and I just like try to learn about a whole bunch of stuff to see if I can actually get this working. And I'm not sure if it sounds any better, but to my ears, when I like did some test recordings, it sounds pretty good right now, in my opinion. You need more money already? What happened to the $1,000? It's the same. Oh well, fuck me. Also, hello Lambert over on Twitch. How's it going? Give me a second here. I'm gonna adjust something. Oh, that kind of works. No, I'm just fixing more things. You know, I'm just fixing more things here and there. So wait, you destroyed... She pulled the dog's leashes we have attached to it by accident when they got tangled in the truck's wheels. Pulled the porch right off the house. Oh my god. Dude, what the fuck? I think even free audio programs have built-in channel strips to help with background noise. Oh yeah, there's ways to like reduce it, but reducing it with software after the fact is not as good as just like having a solid room that you record in. It'll never be as good. Are you in the peeps chillin'? The peeps? Oh my god, we're back in the 90s. Dave's currently working on the next video. And Naomi is, I think, doing dishes right now, actually. Viktor Orban lost his election? Oh my god, we gotta check this shit out. Let's see. How loud are my key clacks, by the way? Oh my god. She knows where she knows where she belongs. Tell her she's done well. Wow. Wow. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do here real quick? We're doing some things on the fly. Let's do a color source. Oops, that's white. Let's make it black. Let's shrink it down. Let's put it like this, the size of the chat. Then we'll kind of do this. And then we'll make it like, what's the opacity? Where's the opacity on this thing? I'm setting things up live because I'm redoing everything. Hold on a second. Here we go. Give me a second, guys. Give me a second. And then we'll talk about our friend Viktor Orban. Is it this? Yes, it is. Put this down to 50. Good enough. We'll put it below the chat. Boom. How's that? Not bad. Fuck it, we'll do it live. We'll talk about that in a bit, Echo. Thank you, though. Dev, you gays are basically commies, bro. You don't even know. It makes me sad, bro. If I wanted to get sad, a boar from South Africa. We're not communists, dude. There is no moneyless, stateless, classless society happening here. Okay. Let's see. If I were to do this, what happens? Oh, there we go. We're wiggling again. But I'll move the chat again, okay? And I'll redo what I just did. So, put the chat over here. Make it a bit bigger. And I'll add the... Can you shrink the wiggler? It's already quite small, dude. What are you talking about? I'll put in the same color source. Boof. There it is. Make it bigger. I'm wiggling for any wiggler. There we go. That'll do. Put this below chat. And that'll do. Here. I'll even make chat a little bit smaller. It's time to oppress chat. You must be oppressed. Actually, should I put it here, maybe? What do you guys think? You know what? Fuck it, I'll put it here. Who knows? I'm just adjusting things, guys. It's okay to do it on the fly. Okay, good enough. Good enough. Embiggen the wiggle? No. Well, I could. Oh. There's that what you want? There we go. Let's do the entire stream like this. What do you guys think? He has no legs? That's true. I'm just a torso. Here, I'll put it back down. Like, that seems too big, doesn't it? I think you guys are right. It was too big last time. But, like, this is almost too small, I think. But, fuck it. Let's just do it. Let's just fucking do it. Whatever. That's good enough. Okay. So, guys. Hungarian PM Viktor Orban concedes election defeat. Thank you, J.D. Vance, for coming in last minute and making everyone hate him. Yep, Hungary has chosen Europe. Europe has always chosen Hungary. Together we are... Well, Europe has not always chosen Hungary, but okay. Together we're stronger. That's true. Okay. So, Viktor Orban has conceded defeat after what he called a painful election result. Well, there we go. Good job. Defeat from the jaws of victory. I listened to the Kung Fu Joe versus the World VOD, and goddamn, he's a retard. Wait, there was a Kung Fu Joe versus the World? I can't believe he didn't use false electors. Oh, $5 from Zontar, thank you. United Opposition wasn't doing it split. United Opposition, what Jesus Christ. United Opposition, it wasn't doing, then it split, and the Conservatives Party managed to set for a huge surge, and that the Libs were holding them back. Really? Okay. But still, no leader can rule forever. People's time eventually passes. This is just kind of normal, You guys are in the pre-commie takeover phase. Yeah, they've been saying that for 25 years now, though. They have the institutions. I worry for you guys. They say you will miss Rome when she is gone. Oh, who knows? I can't believe he didn't use false electors, amateur. Okay, though. Let's go back to this. I'm no fan of Viktor Orban. Fuck that guy. Okay. I blame V. Wait, was V pro Viktor Orban? That's so stupid. Okay, whatever. Oh. Who was Viktor Orban? The former leader of Hungary, who was considered like a far-right authoritarian guy. Orban's opponent was the one who was the conservative. Well, listen, this is something that Americans don't want to admit, but it's true. MAGA isn't conservative. The current Republican Party is not conservative. Like, conservative philosophy is not in line with what MAGA is doing. They're not really a conservative movement. In fact, the people in Trump's government, they hate conservatives. They hate conservatives. Global Homo collects another scalp? Based. Listen, I am fully on the side of Global Homo at this point. Because holy shit, the alternatives are just fucking stupid. Like, there's a, what's the way to put this? There was that article from Richard Hanania where he said that, like, he likes the aesthetics of fascism. He likes order. He likes hierarchy. His mind naturally goes to these places. He, like, intuitively feels these things are good. And it's like, wow, dude, holy shit. And then he says, but if you're intellectually honest, you have to admit, the liberals are just more in line with reality. And all of this, like, post-liberal fucking right-wing nonsense just doesn't work. And the current right-wing regimes of the world have proven that. Their intellectuals have no real merit. Their ideas are completely non-functional, just like the socialists. And there is nothing to be had by going down the post-liberal rabbit hole. It's like, holy shit. That's actually probably how I feel too. Because you know what? I also admit that, like, the Nazi uniforms are pretty cool. But no. Evil people all around. Hey, Tachyon Blue, what's up? You should cover OpenAI's fake AI rights group and networks of fake organizations and subreddits cover up their genocide. What genocide? What are you talking about? Genocide? What are you talking about? I'm normally too ADHD to chill in a stream, but for a based guy like you, Dev, fuck it, we ball. Well, thank you very much, Ola. Thank you for the $10, man. Thank you. I really appreciate that. OpenAI's fake AI rights group exposed. The Signal Front. Okay, I will have to look into this another time. I'll put it on the list. There you go. I have the video open. I will check it out. But AI rights. Also, hello, Arpra. What's going on, buddy? Clanker lives matter. Clanker lives matter. Clanker lives matter. Listen, guys, if you ever had like a robot GF, you would be full, like, she would give you such good sucky, you would be full pro Clanker lives matter. Okay. Oh, I'm stretching. So, I know a couple of people in the Discord asked me, Dev, how come you're not streaming video games after this this particular weekly sip? And the reason is, all the mic stuff that I just set up for my recording and writing PC, where I make all the videos and do these streams, I'm also going to be doing in the other room where I do the gaming content. I'm going to basically spend the night kind of resetting up that shit too. Because to be honest, I think like a part of my mental roadblock of not wanting to stream video games with you guys is like, yeah, I know, Arpra, you fuck. Part of my mental roadblock was the fact that I have like this checklist that has just grown of things that I have to do. I was like, I should just fucking sit down tonight and just do it. Yeah, it is kind of spring cleaning. Yeah, it's kind of I'm kind of in a spring cleany mood. You know, the snow is finally melting up here in Canada. You can finally get the car out of the fucking driveway. So I did clean up a bit. One of the mental checklists is the trucker video. We'll see. We'll see, boys. By the way, how loud am I? Am I too quiet? Like, how is the mic currently sounding, you know? If you're into sounding, don't let me know that. Mic is perfect. Do not change. Okay. No, I felt like sometimes I might be a bit too quiet, but like here, I'm gonna like lean back a bit. Like, am I too quiet right here? Like, or what if my head's turned this way? Am I too quiet like this? Like, can you guys like still kind of hear me? Is it too quiet? Like, what do you think? Oh, different inflection, but all worked. Okay, you know what? You know what? It sounds like my hard work paid off. Oh, yeah. The levels depend if you're screaming at Naomi during the clip. Here, what if I screamed? You guys want to see me screaming? Or like just being really loud? Just so we can, like, just for testing, right? Here. I'm going to do it now, so if you don't want to hear, just lower your volume for the next 15 seconds, okay? I'm going really loud! Okay, how about that? I like yelled directly into the mic. That was honestly kind of too loud for me, even. Yeah, that was loud. See, I know I peaked the mic, but I'm pretty sure that I have it set up to like auto turn down. I'm gooning. Put the mic in your mouth. No, thank you. I'm just gonna scream I'm gooning over and over. You guys want me to do that? Oh man. Man, every time I like stretch, 18 fucking bones pop. I definitely feel old nowadays. Holy shit. Okay, I'm just gonna crack the bones. Here, can you hear it? Did I crack them all already? Oh, there we go. Cracking knuckles right into the microphone. That's what a highly tuned mic is for. The worst, weirdest sounds ever. Dev Bone ASMR video when? coffee's so good, man. It keeps me alive. Ace, Dev doing crack live on stream. You know what? I'm kind of surprised that Ace didn't cover the Niara shit. That would be like right up his alley. Like whenever I do some sort of drama, he hops right on that shit, man. The response video is nothing but cracking your knuckles into the mic for 1 hour. The trucker video is just an hour of me wrecking trucks. But okay, let's get going, shall we? Let's get going. I do actually want to talk about the Niara thing a bit. But for the most part, we got articles to read. Niara's video was really good. I know Niara didn't like it, but I also know Niara didn't watch it. And I'm pretty sure I can show you how. Let me just grab my headphones here. The Trucker Carlson video. Actually, wait, hold on. I don't got to use my wireless headphones when I got new wired ones. Get my new headphones out. Okay, let's just see here. How do I do things? It's not you. Is it you? Yes, it is. Okay. Nope, not that. Yeah, we talked about it earlier, Odin. Thank you. Give me a moment. Just making sure everything works. Oh, fuck you. No, I put in a plugin. And it might have, yeah, it fucked up every single one of my windows. I'm going to have to go and like manually reload them. Fuck. Okay. Hold on. Let's take a second. Manual reloading times. Do you know what it's all about? Because I don't. I just like, nope. That didn't do shit. That made it worse, in fact. Shut up. Okay. Sorry, guys. Just give me a second. I am just fixing this. I installed a plugin into my browser, and it fucked up every single window that I had open and ready to go for the show. So just give me a second, okay? Just give me a bit. I think just a simple refresh will do to fix it. It's looking like it, yeah. Always broken, always late, always gay. Yeah, but you're always plapped, Aaron. I saw you flirting with that one trans girl on Twitter who's going to give you the D. I saw it. She's going to fly you out. My man Aaron's getting laid. He's getting some pipe laid in him. Now here, if I were to add just wait. Yeah, this. Okay. Give me a moment, sorry. Now you guys should be able to hear this. Yes, you can. So if you guys watch the Niara drama trans video, which to be honest wasn't really about Niara or about Sargon, it was about the ideas. They were just kind of good springboards into the discussion. If you guys watch that, it should come as no surprise to you that Niara continued to crash out on Twitter and then made this video about the whole thing, right? When transphobes pretend to be saviors of trans people. So let's actually, this is her talking about it. Let's actually see what's going on here, okay? Because there's a few interesting things in this video that I think I wanna show you guys. I'll put it on I'll turn on the CC and I'll put it on 1.25 so we can get through it. But let's go.
On March 22nd,
yeah,
I actually had an encounter with the YouTuber Short Fat Otaku, who is...
Man, she kind of sounds like, that fish from American Dad, doesn't she? I think it's more the accent than the tone of voice, but there's definitely a similarity there. We're not pretending we libs are the saviors. Based. Yes, we are.
Who is well known from the Gamergate era, now kind of fell off because he's just picking fights with anyone. But he has a very...
that's a strange way to put it, isn't it? I mean, I've certainly fallen off, but it's not because I'm picking fights with anyone. It's because I specifically picked fights with the right wing. That's why.
Interesting take on trans rights and so on.
Okay.
I blocked him now, but there are a lot of interactions that we had. There was this whole thing about him wanting to debate me because apparently Leaflet and Oko didn't do a good enough job.
Which is true.
And he knows so much more because he's obviously a cis man who knows more about the trans experience than me, and also has the superior view on trans rights than me.
So it's not because I'm cis, but it is because, not to toot my own horn too much, I have been looking into this and talking about this for years. I have read a whole bunch of different views on it, including views that I don't agree with, both far left and far right views. And also because I actually do have a little bit of that, that bougie progressive education that allowed me to study topics like this back in university. I hate to be that guy who says I went to school for this, but I kind of did. It sounds really egotistical, and I might just have to bite that bullet and be yeah, okay, this is me flexing my ego a bit. But yeah, I do have relevant degrees. Well, okay, to be fair, degrees. One double degree, one minor, and then a failed master's because I dropped out to do YouTube. But they are relevant. They are relevant education, basically. Oh, I'm still drinking coffee. It's good. I thought Niara was Norwegian. I thought she was German. Listen, if she's Norwegian, we got to call Arch up. But no, basically, my view is not that me being cis means that I know more about being trans than a trans person. No, it's that me being smarter and more educated means that I know a lot about this topic. But also that being trans yourself and having nothing else, no other qualification, does not actually mean that you're intelligent enough to talk about something, right? I hate this progressive bullshit idea of you can only speak on an issue if you're a member of a certain demographic. That's just fucking stupid all the way down, because intelligent, rational people can in fact have opinions on issues that do not directly affect them personally, obviously. I drive cars, therefore I know just as much about them as my mechanic, Dev. Yeah. You know that one cartoon of the people saying they're all on a plane and they're the pilot is elitist and out of touch. We should all vote ourselves into the cockpit and take control of this plane. It's this is stupid. This is fucking retarded. It's not quite the same thing, but it is a related kind of idea of, you think you're an expert based on demographics, which is just fucking dumb. It's just stupid. Let me quickly finish the coffee. I'm just going to chug it real quick just to get out of the way. Okay. Another funny part about this is that Niara said that she blocked me, which she did, by the way. She blocked me and then kept crashing out about me for several weeks afterwards, which is kind of wild. But she also makes fun of people when she gets blocked. Like, bro blocked me, Lamo. It's like, hold on. Dude, like, aren't you this very same person here? I'll zoom in a little bit. Like, aren't you also the blocker? This is the kind of thing that you can say when you never block anybody, or you block very few people, and you view blocking as like a sign of cowardice. Like, you can't actually stand being criticized. But Niara blocks everyone all the fucking time. Mog them all. Based. She can dish it out, but can't take it. Yeah, kinda. Yeah, see? Currently blocked. And then you have, like, this was, I think, yesterday? Where is it? We're going to scroll a bit and find it. Let's see. Transgender friend. Yeah. Like, this was 5 hours ago. And this is a quote from my video. We are not fully self-authored beings. Which, by the way, is true. Is true. And yet, here she is, after having blocked me for several weeks, continuing to crash out about this stupid drama. If you haven't been picking fights, why are you on Twitter? That's the only reason I'm on Twitter nowadays, guys, is picking fights, thanks to the £2. But okay, so, let's continue here.
I saw this tweet on March 18th, actually. Yep. Nobody reasonable actually thinks that trans women metamorphose into biological females. True. The ask is not a belief that men are women. It's don't be an asshole. You don't have to like trans people. You have to leave them alone. And essentially his view on like trans topics, essentially, let me showcase this. Sure. So he uses the definition because he believes that dictionaries are prescriptive, not descriptive. So he thinks the word...
Oh my god. I have a feeling she didn't actually watch the video, guys. If she took that away from the video, like it is very clear that dictionaries are descriptive. Like the prescriptive, the whole prescriptive part of dictionary definitions is like, well, because woman is defined as adult human female, then you use that as like some sort of, some sort of moral persuasion against people who are, they don't quite neatly fit into one gender binary. I'm certainly not doing that. I don't care if you're androgynous. I don't care if you're trans. You can do whatever the fuck you want. None of my business. But no, like, descriptively, the adult human female thing does just kind of work. Devs out here bullying more VTubers? Based. Okay. Yeah, Andrew, I wouldn't call Niara a guy. Come on, man. But let's go.
Woman, I love using Comic Sans, it's so funny, is adult human female, essentially, like the old definition. And female points to having large gametes.
Yes.
So his definition of a woman is this one, and female means that you have large gametes. Yeah. And because trans women don't have large gametes, that means we are not women. It also means that intersex women would not be women.
If they're not fertile, yes, they're not women. They're intersex. That's true.
Fertile women would not be women.
Yes, that's also true, yeah. Like, I'm just willing to bite these fucking bullets, all right? There's a reason why we had exclusive gender roles for males who had their testicles chopped off, and they were known as neuter. They became eunuchs. And in fact, there were certain things in society that only eunuchs could do that men and women couldn't do. They were considered their own classification of thing. They were looked down upon. It was not a positive connotation, but it was its own thing. A male could not be a eunuch, not with his balls intact. the issue here ultimately is that people who exist in between the male and female poles, they do exist in between. They don't become the other pole simply because they want to. There is like a nebulous middle ground that they can exist in, and it's totally fine to exist there. Like, trans women are not women, but they're also not men. They're also just not men, all right? They're not male, they're not female, they are something else. They are trans women. They are their own category, and there's nothing wrong with that. People like Niara think that that's insulting or something, but it's not. It's just it is a morally neutral descriptor of objective reality.
Apparently, after the point of, you know, being menopausal means that you're no longer a woman.
I wouldn't even say that, though, with menopause, because like the normal reproductive arc of the average human female is one where they have like certain reproductive capabilities at certain times and they stop being fertile, but they still produce the gametes when they were meant to, right? Like, you know, a woman is not fertile for like 1 week out of the month because she's on the rag. And if you fuck a girl while she's on her period, you're not getting her pregnant, usually anyway. So like, just because you have periods of infertility does not mean that you're not that thing. But because there are periods of fertility, you do have to hit those periods of fertility. Like, you should be producing large or small gametes at the appropriate time to be male or female. And if you don't produce those gametes at the appropriate time, well, then you're not male or female, you're something else. And that's completely okay. That's completely okay.
Because you don't produce large gametes. This is obviously not how anyone would use this word, right? If I'm going to refer to a female coworker, you're not going to be like, well, did you check that she's actually fertile?
You know what's funny? I gave this exact... Okay, like, either she's too stupid or she didn't actually watch the video, because I gave this exact example and responded to it in the video. In the fucking video, guys. Like, I even said... like, there's very clearly a difference between how you use a word casually and how you actually use the word in a very specific context when you're truly trying to drill down at some core meaning. These are two different things, right? Like, when you see a passing trans woman at the grocery store and she just completely looks... You know, she completely looks normal to you, and then she comes up to you, and let's just say she secretly says, "By the way, I'm actually trans." You know, she just kind of whispers that in your ear. The fact that you have looked at her and viewed her as a woman means that in that casual setting, the word "woman" is appropriately applied to her, right? However, if you're having a more concrete discussion about like about, I don't know, taxonomy or medical advice or something, it's going to be a different classification of word. It's just, it's the stupidity that you have to deal with when you wade into trans topics online is mind-numbing. Oh, by the way, Aaron, I think you have mod over on Kick, right? Do you mind going over and banning that Kick bot? Here, let's go.
Nobody is going to actually think this way, but obviously he is right. He knows more about these things than me,
True.
And I try to explain to him how ridiculous this is, because he uses language like biological female, which is made up by TERFs in order to invalidate trans women and, to be fair, also intersex women,
so,
right?
This is known as a genetic fallacy, where basically an idea is bad because the person that it comes from or the group that it comes from is bad, right? And you see genetic fallacies all over the place on the right. So, for example, because one of the key formulators of early trans stuff was John Money, the guy who abused children in his experiments, I've seen right-wing people say, you know, therefore trans doesn't exist. That's clearly not true. They're doing a basic genetic fallacy, right? I remember James Lindsay saying stuff like, anyone who says that Marx was right in his analysis of things is a communist. That was like the whole James Lindsay versus Sargon woke right debacle, right? That's very clearly just basic genetic fallacy stuff. You can admit that some things that socialists and communists say are factually correct without agreeing with their prescriptions, right? There are so many right-wingers who say someone is a communist if they use the terms proletariat or bourgeoisie. Those are two useful terms. They're completely useful terms if you're talking about like class dynamics. Even if you're not a communist, they're useful terms. So this idea that the term biological female was created by TERFs, therefore it's evil, therefore it's wrong, the logic doesn't track. All right? The logic just doesn't track.
We saw that with Iman Khalif, that they still insist it's actually a biological male. And they keep pushing this. And we tried to explain this. It was a whole show. It went back and forth and so on. And I called this out. I was like, what aspect when it comes to the classification of biological female are we using? Positioning. Also being female is not a us to detransition because he's also a chaser. You know, if you doesn't want us in camps, he doesn't want to force.
I skipped too far ahead.
He create like a whole spat. He was like, oh my god, debate me, because he really wants to debate me.
Yes, I do. You want to know why? Because the content would be fire, baby. That's really the only reason, to be honest. Like, I think the debate would be very good for my channel, and honestly, probably for her channel too. We'd probably both have something to gain out of it. Also because I am getting more into debates, and there's absolutely a lack of decent debate partners, or I guess opponents, I guess you'd say. Well, you know, whatever. So it's like, yeah, if I can debate somebody who I disagree with, why not? Why not, dude? Debut second debates? Fuck you. Fuck you, Yvonne. Oh my god, 10 pounds. Thank you. You hate Niara because she's true. Oh my god. I hate Niara because she can't be asked to animate her foxtails. We are not the same. Goddamn soul nexus ass tails. If you're a brokey, just say so. Oh my god, dude. Thank you for the 10 pounds, but Jesus. Yeah, we're getting to the exercises fascism level of stupidity. Yeah, there's like those crazy lefties who are like, because the fascists exercised and valued strength and like, you know, the muscular masculine form, exercising is fascism. And it's like, shut up. You are cancerous to the entire fucking human race.
He, quote-unquote, has a pro-trans position because he doesn't want us in camps. He doesn't want to force us to detransition because he's also a chaser. You know, if you put in the effort to...
I am just going to straight up say, of course I'm a fucking chaser. And if you think, you know, I spent the late 90s and the 2000s fighting with right-wingers over bullshit sexual shaming and eventually winning that fight. You know, I remember being a young teenager taking part in like pro-gay marriage protests and things like that, right? And I have some memories of those experiences, and they were pretty interesting. But the point is, I fought with puritanical rightoids for a very long time regarding my sexuality. If you think I'm going to let anybody on the left shame me sexually, it's not going to fucking happen. I will just Giga Chad yes everything you have to say about my sexual proclivities. Fuck you, all right? You actually are no better than Sargon in this regard. Thanks very much, Aaron. I appreciate it. I miss the 2000s, simpler times. I agree, man. Thanks to the $2. Thank you.
To look how he wants us to look, then we earn the label woman and we earn like his respect.
So no. See, you'll still have like my respect as a basic human being, but if you don't pass, you don't pass. Like, it sucks, but it is what it is. That's how the world works, right? Like, if you want my eyes to view you as a woman, you have to look like one. And you can say, oh, that's bigoted, or that's hateful, or that's not equal, or that's mean, or it's like, yeah, but you know what? There's like the objective reality, and then there's your ideology crashing against it like waves, and the waves are not breaking down the objective reality. All right? You are not going to be able to propagandize me into believing someone who looks like a man is actually a woman. You can say, hey, it's the polite thing to be respectful towards them. And I agree, of course it is. And hey, you shouldn't oppress them. I completely agree, of course. But you must believe in your heart of hearts that the 7-foot-tall linebacker Gigahan is actually a dainty, tiny, petite woman. No. It will not happen. It will never happen. It does not matter how much social shaming, it does not matter how many legal incentives you put into place. It's not going to happen. $5. Thanks very much, Lost Coyote. She's just jealous because you're a successful black man. Oh my god.
We need to appeal to him, and we need to be thankful that this is like the compromise, right? And I went on this whole like tangent about like how these performative liberals are thinking that they are like the saviors of trans people. We need to appeal to them, concede to them, not actually call out their transphobia.
No, so listen, you can call out transphobia when it appears, but treating a non-passer like a non-passer, even if you call it transphobia, is still ultimately the appropriate thing to do. Even, like, you can say, oh, it's rude. In some cases it would be. Like, you don't want to go up to a non-passer in the grocery store and just yell at them, hey, you're not passing, get the fuck out. That's ridiculous, right? But if the non-passer insists on being called a woman, it's like, I don't know about this one, dude. But even then, right? People, Sargon was right when he said that you reserve the right to be rude. You obviously reserve the right to be rude. Okay, you can call out that rudeness. You can say, "Hey, that rudeness is not. You didn't have a good reason to do this." You can go back and forth on that. But this idea that like rudeness should be outlawed, no, absolutely not, absolutely fucking not. Trans activists freak the fuck out over chasers, but they also never shut the fuck up about girl dick. I have noticed that too. Yeah, well, only they get to sexualize themselves, apparently.
Crow's rhetoric because, well, they're not as extreme as the rightoids, so we need to be thankful. And that was a whole thing. It was
so like, yeah. There is this attitude among people like Niara, where if they're not completely agreed with in all respects, because most reasonable people will agree with them on some things, but not on all things, then they actually denigrate those people almost as bad as they denigrate the rightoids who actually fucking hate them and who think that they're all like child fuckers and degenerates, and they want to, detrans them with force and throw them into camps and shit. Niara is actually delusional enough to treat those two groups of people as if they're the same, when they're really not. They're really fucking not. And there's this sort of like, I don't know how to put it. It's like an unearned. People like Niara, they have this almost like this entitlement where they're like, okay, yeah, you agree with me on some things, but you're not treating me exactly the way that I want to be treated. And I'm owed that. I'm owed that by you. And so I'm now going to act like that you not doing exactly what I want you to do all the time is a problem. And it's like, well, hold on, actually. And there's such gaslighting happening in this conversation because that's how she acts like liberals are acting, but she's actually acting that way towards the liberals. Does this make sense, guys? $5. Thank you very much, dude. I think the heuristic is that both leftoids and rightoids ignore vehemently is earnestness. If someone is earnest in their transition, that is enough. That's definitely true, right? And we have, you know what? We will talk about that in a little bit because I have kind of planned this segment out.
It's so annoying. Obviously, I haven't blocked because,
yeah, of course you have me blocked.
Getting out of hand. It went on.
Things were getting out of hand. It's Twitter.
He posted a 1-hour-long video on the Niara problem, calling out that activists like me are ruining the trans community, giving trans people a bad reputation. Actually, I am on the same level as Sargon, which is like kind of interesting because Dev's and Sargon's view of trans people is incredibly, like, it is the same, right? Both of
Sargon wants you detrans and I don't. That is a huge fucking difference, and you are fucking delusional. Like this oh my god, dude. Listen, I will be a fucking misogynist, okay? This is how you know this bitch is a woman. She's fucking insane, all right? Holy fuck. But yeah, her view and Sargon's view are actually alike. And not only did Sargon say that in his video, I think Niara even says that a little bit later in her video. And also, Niara's friend, Rav, who we can talk about a little bit later if you want, because I have a history with this person, but they said it too. They also said that like Sargon, like the pro-trans position is closer to Sargon's than the liberal one is, because the liberal is trying to keep a compromise where everyone kind of gets what they want. But the dialectic, in Rav's terms, the dialectic has moved ahead of that now. So Sargon's position is actually more like Niara's because they both agree on the priors. Sargon just wants a different outcome. While for me, I view the problem differently than both of them, which, by the way, I also said in the video. I do not think she watched the hour-long video that she's now yelling about. However, more importantly, I do know some trans people in real life. And I do know some trans people, I do know many trans people online. And pretty much all of them agree with me. And they are a big reason as to why I've come to the conclusions that I've come to. Is because they all see, in the real world, outside of this fucking insane, terminally online bullshit, they see that, like, the trans stock, let's say, has been declining for several years. And it's because, in part, of right-wing propaganda, but it's also because, in part, of crazy trans activists who have said shit like, let's just have trans women in women's professional sports when they haven't even fucking transitioned yet. I know Niara doesn't say that, but you know what? I did, during the Niara drama, I talked to at least 2 people who I have to assume are Niara's followers because they popped up along with her in my mentions, who just straight up said, yeah, we should just have no gatekeeping whatsoever on these trans sports side. Just let them all in. That, there's no difference between men and women whatsoever. I'm just like, you're fucking retarded, dude. This is fucking insane. So let's continue. Oh, wait.
Don't view...
Thanks for the $10, dude. Part 1. Here's where we differ, Dev. I believe trans need to look beyond just visuals. A woman should ideally be able to naturally conceive, which taps into our attraction to them for reproduction. I mean, that's true, right? And that's definitely why, like, women who are infertile report feeling like less of a woman, right? They call themselves that sometimes. So fair enough. Which is why I believe that trans women, if we're going to have like a serious conversation about classification, trans women are clearly their own thing. Does that make sense? Let's continue, though. Before your part 2 comes in, let's continue.
Trans women as real women. They don't view us as female. The only difference is that Dev is a chaser and is attracted to trans women, and if we perform femininity well enough, then we are allowed into women's bathrooms, but we are not allowed to compete in women's sports. Also, we shouldn't go into women's prison, right? That was also like a thing. He was also pushing this. And Saga...
Well, actually, when it comes to the prisons, if you're post-op, you can go into a women's prison, sure. Like, the presence of a penis in a woman's prison, that can have some serious problems if we're talking about sexual assault, obviously. So, yeah, there are certain things that we can mark out where it's like, you know what? It's appropriate for trans women to be in women's spaces here and here and here, but maybe not here and here and here, because trans women and cis women are actually different things. And that's the important part here. All right. And see, she's just making the claim they're not different. They're not different. And then I go, okay, well, let's talk about it. Like, here are the qualities. I even said in the video, here's a list of qualities that trans women and cis women have in common. Here's a list of qualities that trans women and cis women don't have in common. Now, here's these 2 lists. Which one of these lists is more important? And her response to that is, you're a bigot. Hold on. Adam, thanks for the $5, man. Part 2. However, I don't foresee that becoming a reality anytime soon unless we see brain transplants or advanced technology come into play. Fair enough, man. I understand. Thank you. And then Excelsior for £2. Thanks, man. Akko is definitely AGP, obviously. Another 10 from Adam. Thanks, man. Final part, it's a distant future, but I think it's when such advancements happen that society will truly embrace trans individuals, as acceptance has always relied on technological progress. That's probably true, too, to be honest, yeah. Goodman, thanks for the $5. When newspapers came out, only the headline was read. When video essays came out, only 2 to 5 minutes was viewed and clipped. That's true, dude. That's true. You know what? Here. Let's go to, just wait. We're going to open up Paint. we can explain some things here, okay? Here's our paint, okay? Now let's say we have balls, okay? We have some balls. And now let's say we have cubes, okay? Cubes. And now let's say we have, let's go to brushes here. We got 2 buckets, okay? And we want to sort these objects. So how would we sort these objects such that we know what object is in what bucket, right? So obviously, we'll put the cubes in one of the buckets, and we'll put the balls in another bucket, right? Makes sense. So this is how you're sorting your objects. You have 8 objects, and you have cubes and balls, so you sort them into 2 buckets of cubes and balls, all right? We have to do this basic-ass bullshit. But now let's say it turns out that some objects are red-colored, and some objects are blue-colored, right? So should we be putting all of the balls into one bucket and all of the cubes into one bucket? Or let's back up here. Should we put all of the blue objects into one bucket and all of the red objects into one bucket? How do you want to organize your objects? Because how you organize your objects is ultimately arbitrary. This is an arbitrary process. If for some reason you're devising a game where you need red objects and blue objects, then you will organize them by color, not by shape. However, if you're devising a game where you need cubes and balls, you will organize them by shape and not by color. There's no morality attached to any of this. It's just sorting objects. You guys understand so far? You guys get it? $2 from Excelsior. You're a crap artist, so fuck you. Fuck you. Ethan Foster, thank you for the $2. Who do you think will win the Masters? The Masters of what? I don't even know. But thank you for the 2. Yeah, are you sorting by shape or by color? Which way, Western man? but the point is that you're going to choose how to sort them based on utility, right? Now, obviously, we're talking about trans women and cis women and trans men and cis men, right? In case you guys didn't fucking figure it out. So, if you must have 2 buckets, let's say these buckets are men's and women's washrooms, okay? Like public bathrooms where you go to take a shit, okay? And you want to sort. Well, I think the obvious is, like, let's say you're going to put all of the women, so the red spheres, into the women's bathroom bucket. And then you're going to take, like, let's say that these are the trans women. And where should you put them? You put them in here because they're squares, or you put them in here because they're red? Now, for me, the line is passing, right? So, like, if this one passes, you put them in here. If this one doesn't pass, you put them in here. That's the line for me, right? And I think most people agree with that. Now, if you're going to be talking about prisons, then the line probably has to be bottom surgery, because penises in the hands of terrible people make a great rape weapon, okay? So you want them out of women's prisons if possible. If we're talking about women's sports, then we got to talk about, well, how long have they been on HRT? Do they still have a biological advantage? Like, each one of these conversations is going to be different. There's going to be a different standard for these buckets, because you're aiming to maximize a different utility each time, right? You can't simply say they're all women, they all go in here. You can't actually do that. That is like the ideologically blinded answer, okay? Make the cubes rape the circles. Fuck you. Fuck you, dude. Thanks for the $2. Thank you. So, and also, if we're having a discussion of, like, how do we appropriately classify things independent of actual policy, like, how should you think about these things? The obvious answer, oops, that's blue. Oh, hold on, let me just fix that. The obvious answer, guys, is you have 4 buckets. Obviously. You've got women, and you've got trans women, and then you've got men, and then you've got trans men. And I can't believe I have to do this baby bullshit to really explain this idea. But it's the easiest way to explain this, though, right? So in some ways, trans women are like cis women. And in those ways, society should treat them like cis women. But in some ways, trans women are not like cis women. And in those ways, society should not treat them like cis women. And like I said, there's no morality attached to this for me. I'm not saying this makes you a lesser person. I'm not saying this means that you should be attacked or ridiculed or have your rights stripped from you or that this should bleed over into other situations, other conversations. No, none of that is true. None of that is true. Because I guess I can just, I don't know, cognitively, isolate different variables and examine them each on their own merits. And lots of people who are emotionally attached to these conversations just can't fucking do that. Like, I guess that's what's happening here. But yeah, like that's my actual view on this, explained as simply as I can possibly think of. But if I look like a linebacker and I want to be a cutesy trans girl, good luck. Have fun. You might not be able to. As I said in the video, not everyone makes it. Not everyone makes it. Okay.
Aragon actually made a video about this whole situation, calling out deaf because its rhetoric just falls apart. It is so interesting.
Okay. Here, I'm going to back up a bit. So I want you guys to hear this part, okay? Here, listen.
Also like a thing, he was also pushing this. And Sargon actually made a video about this whole situation, that deaf is a chaser and is attracted to trans women, and if we perform femininity well enough, then we are allowed into women's bathrooms, but we are not allowed to compete in women's sports. Also, we shouldn't go into women's prison, right? That was also like a thing, he was also pushing this. And Sargon actually made a video about this.
I went to the wrong part again. Jesus fucking Christ. Okay, hold on. $10. Thanks, man. The funny thing is, computational binary, where all this language is derived, is actually a resolution of Loki's wager. It is the discrete collapsing of the continuous measure of electric voltage. Yes, I know that too, because I know exactly what you mean. You know what? I know exactly what you mean. I don't have the language to describe it, but I can show it to you. What happens is you have like voltages that come in, right? And they go like this, and the voltage along a wire goes like this, and it goes like this, right? And you have like many different voltages that come in. And like you need to like basically, as the voltage comes in along the wire, it creates a pattern. And then basically the computer reads like, it'll read an absence here, and then it will read voltage crossing over here, and that's how it gets the zeros and ones. So like this is why really bad computer cords that don't collapse properly, they actually ruin the signal, right? If the voltage does not cross over at the same time, it'll actually ruin the signal. I don't know the words to describe this, but I know exactly what you're talking about. Is that computational binary collapses Loki's wager because all of these in-between bits here and here and here and here and here and here don't actually matter. What matters is when the computer measures here and here. You guys know what I mean? Acting like pirate software with these drawings. There are some key differences between that man and me, okay? There are some key differences. Do you guys know what I'm saying, though? I'm saying vagina? Fuck you. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna go back.
I'm calling out that activists like me are ruining the trans community, giving trans people a bad reputation.
Every single trans person I've spoken to that I'm friends with, IRL and online, have all agreed with me on this. You do, in fact, ruin their reputation, and they don't like it.
Actually, I am on the same level as Sargon, which is like kind of interesting because Dev's and Sargon's view of trans people is incredibly is the same.
She just said that Dev's and Sargon's view of trans people is incredibly like it is the same. Okay, let's keep watching.
Both of them don't view trans women as real women. They don't view us as female. The only difference is that Dev is a chaser and is attracted to trans women, and if we perform femininity well enough, then we are allowed into women's bathrooms, but we are not allowed to compete in women's sports. Also, we shouldn't go into women's prison, right? That was also like a thing. He was also pushing this. And Sargon actually made a video about this whole situation, calling out Dev because his rhetoric just falls apart.
Hold on. It is. I thought you believed Sargon and I had the same position. How is it that Sargon is calling me out and that you believe my rhetoric falls apart if Sargon and I are also somehow opposed? Doesn't really make sense, does it? Almost like just like with genders, there are more than two options in this conversation. And you can, in fact, exist in the middle of those two options, Niara. I'm completely silly, but when I get serious, you draw. I do draw whenever I get serious. That's true, yeah. Thank you very much, Excelsior. You see, Dylan, trans women are a woman insofar as your brain intuitively thinks they are when they pass. However, that's not a satisfying answer with regards to strict classification. Strict classification, trans women are neither women nor men. That's the actual position that I hold. Trans women are their own thing. They're not men and they're not women. But apparently that means that I fucking hate them or something, which is so fucking stupid.
So interesting. It is so interesting, but he doesn't comprehend that because he thinks that he's the savior of the trans community.
I do comprehend it. Because, you know what? I can actually steel man all the positions in this argument, right? So, Niara, your position is that trans women are women. They are female because when you go on hormones, you end up adopting the hormonal profile of a female. And so you actually do become female. And so there's actually no real difference between trans women and cis women. Therefore, they should be placed into the same bucket of woman. And the only differences at that point are going to be aesthetic things like genitals. That's Niara's position, all right? Sargon's position is that trans women will always be men, that there's really no such thing as transitioning. It's all just aesthetic changes. And that because trans women can never actually carry their own children, they can only inseminate other women. They will always have the biological role of males in reproduction, making them always men no matter what. And then there's my position, which is neither of those positions. See, like, saying that I don't comprehend what's going on here is fucking ridiculous. I absolutely comprehend what he believes and what you believe and how you're both wrong. Okay?
Right? So I watched this video and I saw the end of it, right? The 59-minute video ends with a clip of me getting headpats and him being like, oh, it's going to be the liberals who are going to save you, kitten. Like, who the f do you think you are?
Yes,
what the
actually.
F is this?
Now, I didn't say kitten. And in fact, I've noticed that Niara likes to weirdly sexualize things in a way that I kind of find to be kind of creepy. Like, no, I'm not doing a weird Discord kitten thing here. I definitely don't view Niara in that way. But yeah, you know what? Liberals are going to be the ones that save you, all right? You're going to cry, and you're going to scream, you're going to cope, seethe, and dilate about it, but it will be liberals who come to save the day. And by the way, this is how I know Niara didn't actually watch the full video. Because she skips over why I said this in the video about liberals at the end. She skips over the part of the video where we talk about real-world polling data. I mean, you guys who saw that video, you guys remember that there was a section where we talk a little bit about Laksha's polling data, right? Because Laksha works as a pollster in the United States, and he does not really care about what the raw numbers and say with regards to like how, you know, is this good for one party or another. He says, listen, here's what the electorate thinks, here's what they want, here's what will get them votes. Or here's what will make real people on the ground vote for this candidate over that candidate. He is a pollster. That is his job. So Laksha comes out and says, listen, your average voter, they are absolutely willing to vote for Democrats in America. They're completely willing to vote for Democrats, even pro-trans Democrats, as long as you give up the trans women in women's sports thing. All right? If you don't give that up, you lose a lot of the voting population. you will lose them to a right-winger. But if you give that up, if you say, you know what, that is an argument that trans activists have just lost, you are not getting trans women in women's professional sports, that's off the table. You can have so much other stuff, but that one's gone. Your average voter will elect that person, that Democrat. All right? And you can tell Niara didn't actually watch the fucking video because we have a real, a morally neutral conversation about the practical reality on the ground when it comes to trans rights and electability. And guess what? From that lens, the liberals are just correct. The liberals are the ones who will win elections. The liberals are the ones who will pass legislation and who will enshrine trans rights. So yes, we are the saviors. And you're fucking welcome. Okay?
Like, goddamn! Holy shit, look at this! They're normies view trans women in women's sports as such a hard line for them that
Yes.
they will vote for a right-winger
Yes.
who would abolish all trans rights. Nobody actually cares about trans rights because trans people are not really an issue.
She's just pulling this out of her ass. She has not seen any polling data whatsoever.
People care about, like, actual real policies that are going to improve their lives. The housing crisis, things getting worse and worse, the job market, livable
These things are all
wage.
important too.
Like,
but again, look at the polling data. The trans stuff is still on the radar.
these are winning positions. Throwing trans people under the bus is not going to actually win you election.
Hold on.
Trying to compromise.
Throwing trans people under the bus was a core component of why the right won in 2024. It wasn't the only thing. The big thing was inflation. Second big thing was illegal immigration in the southern border, right? But if you think that like libs of TikTok soying out about like random trans people 24/7 didn't tilt the needle towards the right wing, like you're fucking delusional. You're just delusional, dude. Thank you for the £2, Excelsior. Glorbus is akin to a self-referencing variable. Thanks very much, man. That's true. Yes.
Is moving the needle further and further to the right is actually not going to help anyone, because people on the left are not going to be satisfied. People in the center don't give a shit. And people on the right, well, they're going to vote for their rightoid candidate, right? Like, it doesn't, you don't win anything. This position is so ridiculous.
The position that Niara has is kind of the leftist version of, I recall somebody talking about Alex Jones a few years ago, where Alex Jones just got something flat out wrong, and you had right-wingers defending him because he was directionally correct. And what that means is, even if he's wrong on this specific topic, because he's wrong in a way that points rightward, that is actually acceptable. Which is just, by the way, a fancy way of saying that right good, left bad. And she's doing the opposite. She's making a directionally correct argument, though she uses different language. The argument that she's basically making is, we should not give up this issue, however small it is, like trans women and women's sports, because specifically it's moving things rightward. It's ceding ground to the right. The centrists don't actually care, even though they do. And so, even if it's factually incorrect, we should not move rightward. Which, by the way, fucking insane. Fucking ridiculous. You should actually just strive to be correct, no matter whose politics it helps or hurts.
Doesn't gain you shit. And it's so annoying that you can call it out in numerous ways, and this pseudo-intellectual guy is going to sit there and be like, no, don't worry, kitten. Everything is going to be okay. You just need to accept that you are other.
The kitten thing, like I said, she weirdly sexualizes things. There's a lot of projection happening here. I will say, though, yeah, I am a pseudo-intellectual. That's absolutely true, right? Like, I've done a lot of reading. I've had a lot of education. But I did ultimately decide to drop out of my master's to do YouTube. So, you know what? I don't get offended if you decide to call me a pseudo-intellectual. I don't think I'm a real intellectual, frankly.
Actually, you should be thanking me that I even call you she. Anyways, But if there was a reasonable centrist candidate who didn't accept trans women in women's sports, but who also didn't agree with every maximally anti-trans stance the way the right does, well,
True.
that guy wins elections. So you want like someone like Gavin Newsom, and you want
yes,
to be,
actually,
like, thankful.
Gavin Newsom is pretty fucking based. Yeah, by the way, guys, Niara is part of the left wing that is so far left, they view Gavin Newsom as basically a right winger. They view him as an incompetent, as basically someone who pretends to be left wing, but is actually just right wing in disguise, and he won't actually change anything or do anything. Basically, voting for Gavin Newsom is the same thing as voting for Trump. That's how these people feel. Which, by the way, is fucking ridiculous. That's fucking insane. That's like, listen. Okay, chat. I know a lot of you guys in the chat do not like Gavin Newsom. We disagree on this. I think he's all right. But you know what? You have to agree. You have to agree that Gavin Newsom is not the same thing as being a right winger. You have to agree. Niara is VTuber Keffels. Aqua is VTuber Gnome. Oh my god, dude. Oh my god. What was your major? So, like, I have an English literature degree, and I usually just say a lit degree, even though there's more to it than that. It's actually a double major. And I also have a minor in gender studies. And then I was doing a master's degree in political history before I decided to drop out. When the far left votes Republican just to spite the Democrats. Well, dude, that's the big argument with Hassan and the liberals right now. Like, if you watch Destiny, or if you watch HYUK, or if you watch Hutch, or any of these other liberal streamers, the argument for the past 2 weeks was, should we take help from Hassan Piker? Because Hassan Piker does not actually want to support the Democrats. He wants to pull people leftward out of the Democrat camp into the far left. And you have Soypill saying, well, we should strategically use Hassan Piker and just like exploit him because he does have a big audience, but we shouldn't actually align ourselves with him. And meanwhile, you have Destiny saying, absolutely not, cut out all the fucking communist subversives. We cannot help them at all. That's been like an ongoing debate in that space now for like 2 weeks. I've been part of those debates. In fact, I was on HYUK TV talking about it. Hassan would say that Newsom and Trump are the same. Yes. And that's what Niara is basically saying here, which is fucking stupid.
Ends. You're going to get the right to transition enshrined in law. You're going to get your anti-discrimination laws too. You're going to get banned from women's professional sports. And even if you don't have the intelligence or the humility enough to thank us for it, you're still going to enjoy it. You're welcome. You can either get with the program or keep pouring gasoline all over yourself. Because if you ever light on fire, it's not going to be me who burns. Bro wrote this down. Bro wrote this down and was like, get you there, kitty. Okay. I got
what is it with this weird kitty shit, dude? What the fuck? Like, yeah, you know what? I was cooking there. I was completely fucking correct. You're retarded. Yes, Giga Chad. Absolutely. But, what the fuck? What the fuck?
It is so condescending.
Yes. And the fact I am condescending to you because you are stupid. You understand? All right? I'm condescending to you because you're dumb.
Like, this guy, this absolute loser, is just going to sit there and be like, yeah, if you would appeal to me, if all these trans activists would just appeal to me, you would win.
Again, the polling in the video. Laksha's polling data showing that mainstream, centrist, center-left normies agree with me. It's not about appealing to me personally. No one gives a shit about what I think, all right? But my views are in line with how most people feel about this.
You would get all of these things. I'm not going to do anything to help you because you're not thanking me enough.
Oh yeah,
like,
there's this
so
extra
weird.
view that you see from some trans activists as well, when like liberals lay out the reasonable middle ground, where like some pro-trans things are obviously unreasonable, but many pro-trans things are actually good. We should implement them. And trans activists will say to the liberal, when the liberal refuses to move more leftward, they will say, well, if you don't help us, we're going to be genocided. It'll be your fault. I can't believe you wouldn't actually prevent us from being genocided. I can't believe you would, like, you think that we need to thank you for this? This is your moral obligation to do this. And it's like, fuck you, bitch. You know? Like I said, if the right-wing ethnostate comes in and they start putting every single trans person into a camp, and they re-educate you and they fucking purge you out of society, or they detrans you if they kill you, it's going to be a horrific disaster. And we can 100% blame at least a tiny little part on it, on your fucking obstinance for not actually taking the pro-trans path that was right in front of you in the liberal camp, because it was not ideologically pure enough for you. All right? Like, there, you know, as you're being rolled away in the boxcar, you're like, oh, this is all those liberals' fault, as the right-wingers point guns at me. It's fucking stupid, dude. It's fucking retarded. Forgive my ignorance, but what's good about Gavin Newsom? Listen, right now, I just love the fact that his Twitter account is mogging Trump 24/7. Fucking based. What do I think of the quartering crash out? I haven't followed enough of it right now. Apparently he's crashing out, but I don't know the details.
It's so gross. Like, what do you mean? What? This is supposed to be an ally? No, he doesn't even call himself an ally because he doesn't do the things that I want him to do.
That's literally the point. There are things that you want me to do that I think are wrong, and if that's what it takes to be an ally, I'm not going to be an ally. All right? Don't worry. Other trans people will call me an ally. I'll be friends with them. But for you, by your standards, absolutely not.
Which is to accept trans women as actual women, right? Like, it's too much to ask for. He calls me neuter.
Per how we described, it actually is too much to ask for. Trans women and cis women are not the same thing. And I know that you want to be. And I know that it causes you, I know that it causes you personally, Niara, because I know that you have really bad dysphoria. It causes you a lot of distress, and I'm really sorry about that, right? I wish it wasn't that way. I wish you could actually be a cis woman. But we live in the real world. You can't be. That sucks. That sucks. But nonetheless, we must live in the real world. We have to do what we can. We have to live with our limitations. And, you know, that sucks. But hey, here we are.
And that's what I have to be thankful for. The thing is, like, bro was called out, right? Bro was called out on his chaser stance, right? Like, this is his chaser stance. He used his trans woman friend, his token trans woman, who put in so much effort in order to look like a gorgeous woman.
She is,
you know, she's very attractive. And said that, like, yeah, you're a woman if you look feminine. This is a woman, but this isn't. Because he's using terms like giga.
The question, are trans women actually women? Is, do they look like women? If yes, then yes. And that means to the terminally online trans community, I am highly transphobic, even though I support a ton of pro-trans policy prescriptions in government. Because what it means is that I respect the identity of a trans woman only if they pass well enough for my intuition to see them as women. And my response to that is, well, too bad. Yeah, it kind of sucks. But guess what? None of us are actually fully self-authored beings. We are not what we say we are simply by will alone. For example, I'm a fat guy. I am not a thin, muscular guy. I could become a thin, muscular guy with a lot of hard work.
The thing is, like, but you're still a guy.
Yes, I am still a guy. No, because the variable we're talking about altering in that scenario is not whether or not I'm a guy or a girl. It's whether or not I'm thin or fat. That's the variable we're talking about altering. That's why I would still be a guy. Yes, Niara. It's a different conversation. Okay.
Your gender identity is not valid because your appearance doesn't meet my expectations. That is transphobia. And even, like, VTuber.
Okay, listen, you can call that transphobia. I will, for the purposes of this conversation, I will just accept that as transphobia, all right? That is justified transphobia because there is actually a good reason behind it. It's as simple as that, all right? Like, oh God, seriously, take me back to the 2000s. Real talk, take me back to the 2000s to like 2010 maybe, because back then you still had a lot of right-wing hate towards trans people that was completely unacceptable, but there was at least an understanding that trans women were not women. They were trans women. They were their own thing, and it was okay. It was okay to be a trans woman. It was not somehow morally deficient for you to transition, all right? It's okay to be a trans woman. It's not bad. It's not evil. It's not degenerate. It's not any of the right-wing boogeyman stuff. It is just okay to be trans. But it being okay is not the same thing as it being identical to cis women. Again, they have this, like Niara and people like her have this insistence that trans women must be made equal to cis women. Not like trans women as a classification itself be made good or moral culturally, but it must be made equal to to cis women, or else it's transphobia. And that is just an unreasonable ask. It's just an unreasonable ask because they're not equal. You are asking for something that definitionally doesn't exist.
Cringe. Being like, Curry being like a bi intuition.
Wait. Dev, I already told you she's being a retard for the sake of denying the truth. Okay. You know, maybe.
He means this. And I was like, it's fascinating how everyone seems to get this about Dev's position except for Dev. It's so funny. Everybody understands that his position doesn't make any sense.
But it actually does. And the fact that you're here agreeing with Mizu, who does just think you are a fucking man, Niara. Like, you think that like everyone agrees, but Dev, the people you're agreeing with right now, this person up here, this Kuji person or whatever, like, they're right wing, Mizu's right wing. These people think you're men. Okay? I don't, Niara. That's the difference. And if you think you're more aligned with them than me, then holy fuck, it feels like you're like aiming to become part of the 41% statistic, because this is like self-destructive what you're talking about being right now. Holy shit.
It is not a pro-transposition. It is not a anti-transposition. It is well, as long as you accept that you need to appeal to me, you need to put in effort in order to appeal to me, then I will view you as a sex object. You know, like, if you make my dick hard enough, then I can call you she as like a little treat. You are over.
You see, see, she keeps sexualizing it. And yeah, you know what? I am attracted to trans women. I make some sexual jokes here and there. But in the video, again, I was very clear. It's not simply about sexualization. Passing is not the same as sexualizing. All right? Like, Taftaj is very attractive and she passes. Those are two separate things. All right? There are absolutely trans women out there who pass, who look like women to me, but they nonetheless are not attractive to me. All right? Passing and being attractive are not the same thing, and I think that's where she's pulling all of this strange sexualization that I'm not actually doing out of the ether. She's just inventing this shit. I think that's why.
Wait, right? Yeah, you're short, but people are not going to be like...
It keeps coming back to sex with her. Bitch needs to get laid.
Well, you're not a man. Society as a whole is not going to ban you from men's spaces, right? You can still go into the men's restroom if you're a short, fat guy. Also, this guy never talks about trans men. He exclusively talks about trans women. And like the concept...
Wait, that's not true, by the way. Even in that video, I talked about trans men, but that's not true. I've talked about trans men several times. In fact, the whole trans women and women's sports thing, it kind of ruins trans men's ability to be athletic professionally, but no one cares. No one gives a fuck. Thanks, Nicholas, for the $5. Though I'm more aligned with your beliefs now than I was more right-leaning before, so I have a negative perspective on Gavin Newsom from the right. You know what? I will talk about Gavin Newsom in the future for sure, okay?
Of somebody using their token trans friend in the entire video in order to be like, well, she can do it, why can't you? Why can't you put in the effort in order to look like her? Why can't you meet these beauty expectations?
I never said that in the video. I never said that in the video, guys. I never said that. I said, like, some people just won't make it. That's what I said. I said that you should try your best, but for some people, you're just not going to make it. And that fucking sucks. It's terrible. But you know what? You don't get the trans version of the participation award. That shit is cringe as fuck. If you don't make it, if you don't pass, I have all the sympathy in the world for you, but that sympathy will not magically transform you into passing more than you do. It's as simple as that.
Everything is just about appearance. It's never about the human being as like a human being. We're never anything other than just sex objects for these people. And that is transphobia.
God, the projection
Everybody
is fucking
can see
insane.
that this is just a chaser position. And you think you're incredibly right about this because you're so incapable of understanding that you're wrong on a position that you unreasonably reasoned yourself into, and you're trying to justify it with like some pseudo-intellectual talking points.
Okay, listen. I've been wrong many times. I've done many debates where I've been shown to be wrong. Okay? When people say, "Oh, Dev, you just think that you're right all the time." No. There have been so many times when I've been wrong. I tend to move off my positions if you give me sufficient evidence. There's been no evidence in this video. There's been no arguments in this video. It's all just been moral shaming. Like, remember the whole remember the buckets from earlier where it's like you have the balls and you have the blocks and you have red and blue, and Niara's argument basically is, if you don't align the buckets exactly the way that I want them aligned, you're immoral. That's her argument. And it's like, well, that doesn't speak to the utility of whether we should group things by shapes or by colors. And she's like, no, you're immoral. And I'm just like, oh my God, dude. Simply saying your position is immoral basically just means your position offends me. And that's just not an argument. It's just not an argument. There has to be something more underneath that for me to be like, okay, I'll consider this. I'll change my mind. But no, you being offended. You know what? 2015 Ben Shapiro had it fucking right. Facts do not care about your feelings. Now, the right-wingers recently have completely abandoned that. They're all up in their fucking feels nowadays. But he was right. He was right.
That you're just stuck on it. You're too narcissistic. You have too big of an ego to understand that, hey, maybe my position is actually not correct. Honestly, I don't even give a shit if you're
Okay, she's just yelling now. She's freaking out. She's legit crashing out. Listen, my position could be incorrect. All right? I have seen no good arguments and no good evidence yet. If you can show me that, which by the way is what a debate is for, I'll consider it. But right now, no, dude. No, dude. Where's the correct arguments?
Transphobic or not, I don't even want you as like a trans ally or something. I just want you to be f***ing honest with this.
I'm being honest.
That is what I want.
I'm being completely honest.
I want you to be like, yes, I'm transphobic, but at least I fetishize your existence. You will never be anything other than other to me. But as long as you know your place in society, I can still sexualize you. That is your position. You want people...
See, the reason that Niara has now lost it and is now yelling into the microphone about how I need to be honest that this is my position is because it's not really my position. But for her own worldview to make any sense, it has to be my position. And the fact that it's not really fucking upsets her.
To have access to transitioning, to like gender affirming care and so on. That we appeal to you, that you can fetishize us. That is what you want. That is your entire position. And people are sitting...
It's not my entire position, but it is a good bonus, yes.
In my comments being like, oh, why don't you debate this guy? Why don't you debate this guy? What do I gain from this? You're not going to do to help us.
You would lose. That's why you would lose.
You're just going to sit on the sidelines and be like, well, if these drones would start dressing pretty and looking pretty enough, then I can like jerk off to them, and then maybe they're going to get rights because they're going to be more socially accepted than all of these gigahorns. The entire root of like the pro-trans argument is that our gender identity is that of a woman and our appearance doesn't match that. So we need access to healthcare that can help us alleviate that distress, but that doesn't mean that you can only have like the gender identity of a woman once you look like the beauty expectations tell you how women are supposed to look like. Like, it's just...
No. What's actually happening here is that your gender identity does not override everything else, including other people's perception of your gender. Because gender is not solely an internal thing. All right. And this is what I mean when I say that we are not all simply self-authored beings. We are not what we are by will alone. That's what I mean by that. All right. I guess she just didn't fucking get it because she reposted that comment mocking it because I guess it went over her fucking head. But your gender is not just your gender identity. All right. It is your gender identity, but also other people's perception of your gender, which is why you do actually have to look the part. And by the way, we do this for a lot of things, not just gender. There is some reasonable expectation that if you are going to claim to be X, you should look like you are X, because that is a social signal to those who are around you that you are in fact X, right? That's why, for example, everyone makes fun of the fact that Michael Jackson, he was a black guy, then he turned into a white guy as he got older because of the skin condition. There's always jokes about this, like did he actually race change or whatever? And the reason why that stuff like intuitively feels right when you look at it, it's like, oh shit, that like, is he actually black? Like, what the fuck? His skin's white. What the fuck? Or like the race grifters of the 2010s, like Talcum X, or what was her name, Rachel Dolezal, right? Like the whole trans race bullshit. It's like, oh yeah, their self-identity was a racial one, but they actually weren't really that race. They tried to look like it, but they weren't. It wasn't actually in them. Okay. You do actually, there has to be something more than just your feelings about what you are to make you a thing. And that is fundamentally why Niara and I can never actually be completely aligned on this, because she does actually think that we're all self-authored beings, that you are simply a thing by will alone, but you're not. You're not. There is actually an objective real world you must contend with as well. Hold on. Did you remove Abhishek from this? What are you talking about? Abhishek got banned from the Discord server because he was underage, but I mean, he should be back, shouldn't he? He's not underage anymore. Like, I guess mods unban him. Okay.
Just gatekeeping. It's moving the goalpost. People.
Well, it's not moving the goalpost, but it is gatekeeping. And here. You know what? We're almost at the end of the video. I want you to keep that gatekeeping comment in mind for later. Okay.
Who are anti-trans will always move the goalpost to, well, you don't produce large gametes, well, you never had period grounds, well, you don't have a uterus. People will always use that in order to, invalidate us. And it's funded by
See, invalidate you. Again, like there's all these loaded terms that she uses. I've said many times, there's no morality attached to this for me, right? Like trans women aren't women, but that's okay, because being a trans woman is good. It's fine. Right? It's not a bad thing to be a trans woman. I really do feel like we're back in like 2015. It's so fucking tiring to hear this tired, frankly exhausted electoral loser of a fucking political position. I don't know, man. You guys, I'm just going to repeat ourselves. I'm just going to repeat myself at this point. You guys know what I'm saying, okay?
Conservative organizations who want to make HRT illegal as a whole, as like a blanket ban. The same way.
Okay, again, another genetic fallacy. My ideas did not come from ultra-conservative organizations. I don't support those organizations, but even if they did, genetic fallacy. Is it correct or not? And the answer is yes, it's obviously correct.
When it comes to abortion zone, because they want to remove bodily autonomy. And the fact that you think that everybody believes like you, that everybody thinks like you, is such a ridiculous position. No.
The polling data, once again, I'm like a broken record here. Yeah, the polling data shows it. Niara just didn't watch the video.
Normal people don't think about this crap like that. Normal people are not stuck and like brained about these topics. The bar for passing in real life is entirely different than online, because online everything is like so brain, and we are not going to get acceptance if we say, yeah, all of like these trans people who don't look pretty enough, they are not actually trans, and we need to like gatekeep our community and so on. Like this trans medicalism, trans separatism, like it doesn't work. It doesn't.
Trans medicalism is based, by the way.
Us. That is what I call out, and you call that the Niara problem. Niara and other similar unhinged trans activists are trans people's worst enemies, and I'm not kidding. If you unironically believe this, you're stupid. It's just pure delusion. It's so fucking ridiculous to push this during a time where they criminalize being trans, shove trans people into prisons where they forcefully detransition them using HRT, actually. But
so listen, Niara, this is what I said, right? Remember when I said pouring gasoline on yourself? Remember when I said you should side with the liberals? because the right wing is in fact the real threat, you are making my argument back to me now. Like, yeah, we completely agree on this. The difference is that I'm right and you're wrong. So if you want to see your rights defended from the right wing, you should get with the program. It's like all these things you're listing off, these are terrible. We agree, these are terrible. So perhaps you should actually do something about it and not just be a terminally online fucking loser.
The other HRT, right? Where we are constantly under fire for literally anything. We just want to live. We just want to exist. We just want to live in society and be included in society. This is not like...
And the liberal way is how you get there.
Compromising and settling for the fact that we'll always be other. You can be a trans woman.
Oh my god, dude. The fucking intersectional language is cancerous. Everyone on some level is other. I am other from a lot of people. That's okay. Holy fuck, dude. I want to Kirby nom my hand. Thanks for the £2, dude. I appreciate it.
As long as you know that you cannot use public restrooms because it's too disruptive. You can't be in women's sports at like any level, even in high school, right?
I didn't say that. I didn't fucking say that. What is this bullshit?
Girls, right? Like the girl guiding situation. This is everything that is happening. And you think we should like settle for this? Literally, what the this Brianna Wu-ass position on trans rights is not going to help us. It's not going to fix anything.
It's the only thing that helps.
That is defensible.
It's actually the only thing that helps.
And it's exhausting, disgusting, and just ridiculous that people
Stay
expect me
mad
to like,
about
have
it.
a debate about this. What do I gain from this? You don't have any power. You cannot influence any policy. Nobody gives a shit about your opinion. Nobody gives a shit about my opinion.
You know what? You care enough to make this video.
The Niara problem is that I don't have enough power in order to actually have a meaningful impact on trans rights. Also, I don't know if I'm a cat or a fox sometimes.
Oh my god, the video's over. Okay. Listen, there's just something about Fox VTubers that makes them all completely, profoundly retarded, I think. Doesn't matter what their politics actually are. But okay, so there's a few things that I do want to talk about real quick, okay? So yeah, like I did comment, you know, I said, oh, look, we both posted videos about this. The difference between us is that I'm willing to defend my ideas outside of a hug box and you aren't. And then, of course, she says, your ideas are if you don't look feminine enough, you're a man, which, by the way, was not my idea at all, period. And you guys know that at this point. And also, if you don't appeal to me, I'll let you and your community die. Remember what I said earlier? Do you guys recall what I said earlier? When I said these people have this view of if the liberal does not move leftward, and as a result, the left doesn't have any real support electorally, and as a result, trans people get like fucking destroyed and murdered by the right. If that were to happen in the future, it's the liberals' fault, not the right-wingers' fault. That's what this is saying here. All right, I'll let you and your community die. How about you actually join the political faction that wants to fight for your community in reasonable ways rather than just being terminally online fucking brain rotted nonsense idiots. All right. And of course, thank you for the $5 again. Niara's a real woman. That's why her avatar is shit. She's too incompetent to make it any better. And Zontar for $2. That's not true. Rima is okay. Yeah, you're right. Well, Rima's a horse girl, not a fox girl. Rima's a horse. But okay. Oh, dude, Abhishek, here you are. You're actually in the comments here. Yeah. Yeah. Your position is that women who are infertile or women that don't meet beauty expectations are men. Again, no, I didn't say that women who are infertile are men. I didn't say that. I didn't fucking say that. I didn't say women that don't meet beauty expectations are men. I didn't say that either. All right? Because being neuter, being in between in the bimodal distribution does not make you the other thing. She's just fucking lying. She's just a liar here, dude. Right. I mean, I did. I replied, no, actually, which is how I know you didn't watch my video. I already replied to it. I'm not going to reply to it again. Yeah. But okay. Sure, you posted this. Fuck off. This gained some traction because she's much larger than me on Twitter. That's just how this is. You know. Are you still crying because he supports trans rights? Which, by the way, I do. Absolutely. This person says, I'm here for the leftist infighting. He isn't a leftist. Thank you, Niara. That was the first correct thing you've said all fucking day. I am not a leftist. Dude, can we just like have that on repeat? Just Niara saying Dev isn't a leftist over and over and over. I want to sound clip that shit if she can actually say it. So I want to blast it at every single right winger I bounce into. Okay. But yeah, let's see here. So here's what's interesting, right? Yeah. Niara says liberals using a guy with a sissy fetish to be misogynistic towards conservative women. This is literally the type of shit that rightoids would post to be transphobic. All right. And so this is conservative women. You got like Kristi Noem's husband, who is right leaning, doing the whole dress up with the fake boobs thing, liberal woman. And you have Hunter Schafer, who is a high profile trans woman. Okay. Guess what? Kristi Noem's husband reportedly told his dominatrix he was trans. All right. With his dominatrix, he frequently disparaged his wife and discussed transitioning from man to woman. So, Niara, how are you going to sit here and just call this dude a guy with a sissy fetish? Is that not also gatekeeping, the way that you complained about gatekeeping in your retarded fucking video? Is that not also the same thing? Because now you're the one who's going off of various perceptions. You're not going off of his innate value as a human being. You're not seeing the woman inside. You're doing the exact same thing right here that you accused me of. But now it's politically convenient for you because this guy is a weird right-wing gooner. So, like, it's per Niara's own stated standards. We do actually have to just accept Kristi Noem's husband as a trans woman. Because, as she said, that's gatekeeping. That's gatekeeping. We're not actually seeing the true person inside. You don't actually have to transition to truly be a woman. These are Niara's positions. If we're going simply by how he self-identifies, because he has self-identified as a woman, and he wants to transition, he's a woman. This is her logic, man. This is why her logic is stupid, by the way. This is why my logic is actually correct. And Niara even behaves like it's correct when it's politically convenient for her to do so. There has to actually be some standard that you have to reach. Whatever that standard is, there has to be some standard. Niara is just shallow and lacking in sympathy, as she accuses Dev of being. Yes, basically. And this is the proof. This is the proof of that. Oh, also, here's Rav. Rav is a former friend of mine, and also someone who worked with Kraut for years. She has decided to basically both abandon Kraut and I. One reason she abandoned me was over the Niara shit, because she's friends with Niara. The second reason is because Rav blames me for Kraut's current anti-communist arc, and for Kraut dipping his toes into like the HYUK debate sphere. Niara blames me for that. Okay. So I figured this was just going to be like an amicable split. You don't like me anymore. Fine. Whatever. But then after this shit, Rav writes, if you're an up-and-coming female content creator with a small but growing audience and Dev approaches you out of nowhere, don't walk, run. So like, you can disagree with me. You can think I'm transphobic. There are even though I don't agree with the arguments, I understand the arguments from people like Niara against my position. I think they're wrong, but I get them. To view this disagreement that we're having, and to say that Dev is like a groomer or a predator of small female streamers or something, this is fucking insane. Like, you know how there's that term pedojacketing, and to basically pedojacket someone is to call someone who is a pedophile. Sorry, to call someone who is not a pedophile falsely a pedophile. You're like, you're a pedophile, even though they're actually not. And so you want to destroy their reputation with false allegations of being a pedophile. That is pedojacketing. You basically you are putting the jacket of pedo over the person's shoulders when they're not actually wearing the jacket. You're forcing it on them. This obviously isn't pedojacketing, but it is a similar thing because it's this implication that I'm going to be exploiting small female streamers. And the reason that she posted this is because of my disagreement with Niara. Like, this is unhinged. Like, this is petty. This is actually morally disgusting to just falsely claim this shit about someone. These people on the far left, they're so self-righteous. And yet they unironically do all the shit, whether it's this or whether it's this, they unironically do all the shit that they say that liberals do to them. It's fucking ridiculous, dude. It's like, these people they're just gross. They're just disgusting. They're just terrible people. And I guess that's that. Okay. So, that was like an hour of reacting to this shit, wasn't it? It was a well-spent hour. I enjoyed doing this. But, yeah, dude. What the fuck? Now, I don't intend to actually talk about Niara anymore after this. Like, if she makes another reaction to the reaction, I don't give a fuck. Unless something crazy happens, like if there's some big Niara drama down the road, I will reserve the right to talk about her at that point. But like, I don't think I need to respond to the response if she makes one. And we all know she's probably going to make one because she seems to be that level of terminally online. She can make her response. I'm not going to reply to it. I'm already working on the next video. It doesn't really matter. But yeah. Also because I think that her response will actually be like just repeating the same bullshit if she makes it. So there's no real reason to do that, I think. We all know Niara wants you. Oh God, listen. I don't like to do that whole sexual projection thing the way that she does. I don't think she actually wants me. If she did, that'd be pretty fucking disgusting. But I don't think so. No. I don't think so. We didn't enjoy it. Niara's flirting with you was cringe. Fuck you. She's just gonna watch one clip from this stream, then make up your opinion from there. Oh God, which clip would it be? Would it be the one clip where, like, it'll probably be the one clip where I say cope, seethe, and dilate as a joke, and she'll be like, "Oh, he's transphobic. He's transphobic." Yeah, that's what it'll be. But okay, let's do something else. Cope and Sneed. Oh God, if Niara becomes Ace 2.0, holy fuck. If Niara becomes Ace 2.0, I will fucking off myself and then self-revive so many times that I will have a higher statistical average than trans people do. Oh. Okay. I do have some articles that we could talk about. You want to talk about them? We've still got some time before the day is over, don't we? Let's talk about them. Okay. We can zoom in a little bit, maybe. Employee accused of arson after paper goods warehouse destroyed in massive fire in Ontario. This is in Canada? I think this is Ontario, California, actually. Hey, Baldo, what's up? You're not banned. Yeah, Ontario, California. A warehouse employee was arrested on suspicion of arson after a massive fire destroyed the building in Ontario, prompting a large response from first responders. Okay. The fire started shortly after 12:30 a.m. 175 firefighters and 20 engines. Holy shit, that's a lot. Big veiny gawk isn't gay if it's a peacup fat fooded. Jesus Christ for the 2 pounds. Holy fuck. The firefight continued for several hours as the blaze continued to burn through the Kimberly-Clark Distribution Center. Okay. I assume this is like an Amazon warehouse or something, or like a mail warehouse. The warehouse was filled with paper products from familiar brands like Kleenex to Huggies diapers. Oh, it's all paper products. Holy shit. Oh my god, look at how much fire there is. That's a lot of fire. The Ontario Police Department later identified the suspect as 29-year-old Shamel Abdul Karim. Okay. He was arrested on multiple felony arson charges. Right. And this is all just firefighter stuff. Okay. Crazy, dude. That's a lot of fire. In fact, I think we have a video of it. So let's just see that video real quick. Here, let's turn it on. Disgruntled employee starts a massive fire at a 1.2 million square foot warehouse. Okay, let's see. Whoa. Yeah, he just lit a bunch of paper towel on fire.
Should have paid us enough to fucking live.
Oh, should have paid us enough.
We may not get paid enough to fucking live, but these bitches dirt cheap.
Oh my god.
All you had to do was pay us enough to live. All you had to do was pay us enough to fucking live.
Oh my god. A disgruntled employee saying pay us more, pay us enough to live.
Pay us enough to live. There goes your inventory.
Holy shit. Yeah, dude, what are you doing recording this shit and posting it to your Instagram? Like, are you fucking stupid? Dev, did you have relations with Lilith? No. No, I didn't. Lilith and I are just friends. We're still friends. There's nothing romantic happening there at all. Lilith's partner, Lilith actually met her girlfriend in my community, and I've been dating Naomi since before I knew Lilith. He forgot to say Pete, Free Palestine. Free Palestine. Okay. Atari buys Intellivision, ending the longest-running culture war in history. Atari has announced it purchased the Intellivision brand and certain games from Intellivision Entertainment. Intellivision Entertainment will rebrand and continue its business with developing and distributing the Amico game console with a license from Atari. So yeah, back in the day, 1979, that's right. Throughout the early 80s, the first real video game console war didn't involve Nintendo and Sega. It was Atari and Intellivision. Yeah, it's just nonsense. It's just nobody cares about this shit anymore. You know what? Like, you can still go back and play NES games. Some of them are pretty rough. Some of them are like gems though, like Mario 3, Mega Man 2, like just really good games on the NES. There's still tons of playable games in the Super Nintendo. There's still tons of playable games in the N64 and PS1. Like, but if you go back before Nintendo, I don't really think there's anything playable on Atari or Intellivision anymore. Like, that's too far back. And it's not because it's before my time. It's because there's like nothing to them. There's no like level. There's no ongoing levels. There's no semblance of a story. It's just getting a high score. It's like, okay, that's like a fun time waster, but it's not the same thing as like beating a Mario game, all the levels in a Mario game or something, right? But yeah, okay. This was a very rare opportunity to unite former competitors and bring together fans of Atari, Intellivision, and the golden age of gaming. Okay, dude. Are infertile men and women the same as eunuchs for you? I think they're part of the same classification, yes. Yes, I do. A New York dad who rescued a sex-trafficked daughter from a boat sues for $10 million over her psych ward fiasco. Okay, wait a minute. Brandon Cruz. Oh, I thought it was the same Brandon writing for Niche Gamer, Brandon Araceli. Okay. Oh my god. I was like, dude, what the fuck? Okay. A Long Island dad who allegedly rescued his sex-trafficked 14-year-old daughter from a boat last year is suing for over $10 million over claims she was assaulted as she recovered in a psych ward. Holy fuck. Okay, Frank Gervasi, 50, that's this guy apparently, is suing Suffolk County and New York State after his rescued daughter, Emma, was allegedly assaulted in 2 separate state-run psychiatric facilities from January to March of 2025. Holy shit. Yeah, this is the plot of Taken. What the fuck? Yeah, she got taken. God damn. Okay. Emma had gone missing for 25 days in December 2024 before her father said he had rescued her from a 56-foot yacht docked at Whitecap Marina in Islip. Prosecutors said she had been held captive and she was repeatedly raped by adult men during the time in between. She was then sent to Sagamore by a Suffolk family court judge, where she would spend nearly a month before being transferred to Brentwood House in early February. During her stay, staff at Sagamore had already warned supervisors that an employee, Deshaun McLean, was being a little too handsy with the minor. Holy fuck. Okay, Gervasi claims he was assured by officials that the worker posed no threat to his daughter, but less than a week later, McLean sexually assaulted Emma Ray anyway. After the traumatic experience, Emma was then transferred to Brentwood House, where a second staffer, Joseph Edward, assaulted her again along with other workers. Holy fuck. A third employee, Daryl Joyner, was later accused of offering her drugs in exchange for seeing her nude. So this is the poor girl. Holy fuck. She's kidnapped. She's held on a boat. She's raped on the boat. Dad rocks up, rescues her from the boat. She goes to the psych ward. She's raped at the psych ward. At 2 different psych wards. Fucking insane, guys. Holy shit. McLean and Joyner were both charged with sex crimes against a minor and are currently free on cash bail. They're due back in court later this month. Holy shit. This is like actually fucking nightmarish, guys. Holy fuck. Hey, Sean, have fun at work, dude. I'd choose the bear. Yeah, fair enough. Love is love, Dev. Fuck you. A mom was fined $88,000 after kids collected 72 clams from California beach thinking they were seashells. This ruined our trip. There's the kids. There's the clams. She was shell-shocked. A California mother was slapped with a fine worth $88,000 after her kids mistakenly collected clams, thinking they were seashells, on the beach without a fishing license. Charlotte Russ was on a family trip to Pismo Beach, known as the clam capital of the world, when she said her kids picked up 72 clams from the clamming hotspot. Okay? The Department of Fish and Wildlife confronted the mother of 5 and told her that her kids were collecting the clams without a license. You got a license for those clams, guys? So yeah, she received a fine in the mail ordering her to pay $88,993 before a San Luis Obispo County judge knocked her fine down to $500. So I guess these clams are like endangered and the kids didn't know, so they collected 72 clams. And they're like, hey, you're getting slapped with a big old fine. Wow. Those kids need to go... Wham, bam, grab by the clam. Those kids need to go to jail for life, Dev. Eco restriction's not a joke. It kind of ruined our trip. I guess their trip's been ruined. There's all the clams, guys. Trip ruined. Making light of the harmless mix-up, Russ showed that she had a shellfish tattooed on her arm, to remember the situation after she won her case. That's kind of funny. Is that the shellfish there? Yeah, it's kind of funny. Like very clearly, the kids didn't mean any harm. They're not like trying to illegally steal clams or anything. So I think knocking the fine down was the appropriate thing to do, I think. Oh yeah, check this out, guys. Okay. CPU ID, which is one of the most trusted sites in PC hardware. I actually use CPU-Z and Hardware Monitor. I don't use updated versions because they've been hacked. I haven't updated them in a long time, but I do use them. They're both really good programs, but they've both been compromised. All right, a fake DLL was shipped inside the installer. It connects to C2, downloads a C hash file, compiles it silently using your own Windows tools, injects it into memory, never touches the disk, AV sees nothing, opens Chrome's password vault, and dumps everything. The chain, CPU ID, Hardware Monitor installer, DLL hijack, and then they just steal your Chrome passwords. Same group, same C2 domain, hit FileZilla in March 2026. They got lazy. That's the only reason we caught it. Yeah, I haven't updated it since I first installed the computer back in October, so don't update your shit, guys. Yeah. I don't know the details, but apparently this is it. As I began poking this with a stick, I discovered this is not your typical run-of-the-mill malware. This malware is deeply Trojanized, distributes from a compromised domain, performs file masquerading, is multi-staged, operates almost entirely in memory, and uses some interesting methods to evade EDRs and or AVs, such as proxying NTDLL functionality from a .NET assembly. The C2 domain present in one of the binaries is a clear IOC. This is the same threat group who was masquerading FileZilla in early March. Yeah. So, all your shit, if you're using updated versions of a CPU ID's products, which by the way, it's actually a pretty good products. But if you're using updated ones, you might be getting fucked, guys. You might be getting fucked. £5. Thanks, man. I've become a radical centrist at this point. No matter how milquetoast your opinions, left or right, it's always too extreme for me. Thanks very much, man. Thanks for the $5. Cannibal rats as big as cats could attack your kids. Wow. So there's a garbage strike happening in the UK, the bin strike. And apparently the bin strikes have led to the rise of super rats. As a wildlife expert has warned, changes in rodent eating habits can lead some to grow up to 40 centimeters in size. So, here's the bin strike. Garbage men aren't picking up garbage. The rats are getting bigger. Yeah, they're giga rats. This is like you know how you play any JRPG, and one of the first dungeons is always a sewer, and they're always fighting rats in the fucking sewer. Yeah, giga rats. Rats are getting bigger. This is largely due to increased access to high-calorie food waste, warmer winters, and competitive behaviors like cannibalism. These factors support longer lifespans and more robust physical growth. In urban areas, rats have fewer predators and more consistent food supplies. An ideal combination for supersized rodents. Rat power! Rat power! Rat power! The Skaven are coming! Look at this fucking thing! Dude, it's so huge! I'm stunned. Like, it is the size of a pet. Like, the tail? That's the size of a cat or a small dog. It's so big. Hold on. Gas engineer Tony Smith, 46 years old, spotted the rat while working at a block of flats near Hackney Downs, North London on Thursday. The rat was found dead. Oh my god. This is the largest rat I've ever seen in my entire life. Listen, that looks fucking gigantic, guys. Are there more pictures? No, there's not. Okay. Oh, Dracus. Thanks for the $1, man. I hope those evil ghouls get shanked with iron rods in prison. But on a lighter note, hung halflings plapping M-cup mega milfs is hella based. Thanks for the $1, Dracus. Wow, that's huge. Here is our headline for today. Here's the thumbnail. A woman kills herself days after a man injects her with HIV-positive blood. Holy fuck. That's disgusting. The incident took place on March 11th, when the accused, Manahar, forcibly injected his HIV-infected blood into a woman at her house shortly after she canceled their marriage. So this is in a place called Hyderabad. I think it's in India. A 24-year-old woman who was injected with HIV-positive blood by a man after she refused to marry him last month has died by suicide. The incident took place on March 11th when the accused, Manahar, forcibly injected his HIV-infected blood into the woman at her house shortly after she canceled their marriage. According to the police, the accused and the victim are relatives, and her parents had initially planned their daughter's marriage with him. As the accused parents were already infected with HIV, the woman's parents got the man tested for the virus in September of last year, for which he tested positive too. The woman immediately canceled the marriage, following which the accused injected her. Okay, so parents have HIV. Child has HIV. Child grows up to become a man. Man wants to marry his cousin or whatever. That's already kind of weird. Cousin is like, I don't know about this. Marriage is arranged by family. Rest of the family wants the man checked for HIV because the parents have HIV. Man tests positive for HIV. Man then forcibly injects his HIV blood into the woman to make her HIV positive too. Now, maybe he was thinking, this will force her to marry me because now we're both HIV positive. So fuck you. It's still completely fucking disgusting. But maybe that was his logic. And then she killed herself. It's just disgusting. It's disgusting. This is terrible. The woman was found hanging at her house. Her family members rushed her to a hospital. She was declared dead. Yep. She started to cope with fear, social stigma, and emotional trauma. Yep. Fucking hell. That's actually just terrible. Oh. Defund the police activist goes viral after begging for help when everything she owned was stolen in San Francisco. The cops didn't do shit. Okay. When thieves made off with Darcy Bell's rented U-Haul truck, the San Francisco woman put out a call for help on Twitter. If you see a 26-foot U-Haul truck with the Arizona plate AL50003, would you let me know? Because it had like everything I own on it. The post went viral, but not for the reason she hoped for. Bell spent years posting left-wing defund the police views, and users across the site blasted and mocked the activist. Anti-police activist begs the police to help. Well, to be fair, she didn't beg the police to help. But still, the idea is, I get it, right? Like, she thinks that there's no reason for the police, then she gets robbed from. It's fucking stupid. She should be more like bike cuck. Okay. Yeah, so here she is. Yeah. It was stolen near No and Market. U-Haul doesn't put GPS on their trucks. Wait, you didn't lock it? You didn't, like, lock it up? Okay. You didn't keep the keys on you? Okay. So, Mere hours after she filed a police report, she blasted the police for not immediately locating her stolen possessions. I haven't found my shit. The cops didn't do shit. U-Haul made me file a fucking police report. There's cameras all over this city. They haven't done shit. I just want my stuff back. So this chick, she's living out in Arizona. It's time for her to move to the big city. She loads up a U-Haul. She moves out to San Francisco. Her stuff's stolen. She hates the cops. She blames the cops. Holy shit, this is fucking stupid, guys. Yeah. Fucking dumb. The scariest findings in this paper. The subjects couldn't tell it was happening. University of Pennsylvania ran this study on 48 healthy adults. One group slept 8 hours. Another slept 6. Another slept 4 for 14 straight days. They tested cognitive performance every 2 hours from 7:30 a.m. to 11:30 p.m. The 6-hour group's reaction times, working memory, and sustained attention deteriorated on a near linear curve. By day 14, they were performing at the same level as someone who hadn't slept at all in 48 hours. The 4-hour group hit that threshold by day 6. This is interesting, right? Because if you don't sleep for 48 hours, you have massively degraded performance in everything mental across the board and physical. But if you only get 6 hours of sleep a night, after 2 weeks, you are performing this at the same level as somebody who hasn't slept in 4 days. So you really do need 8 hours of sleep a night. That's crazy. I mean, also understandable, but still. Here's the part that should unsettle everyone who thinks that they do fine on 6. Because you know what? I think I do fine on 6 hours. But still. The subject's self-reported sleepiness flatlined after the first few days. Their brains kept getting worse. Their perception of how impaired they were stopped updating. The cognitive decline was invisible to the person experiencing it. So, you think, I'm doing fine. It feels like you're doing fine. But you're not actually doing fine. That's kind of scary. The researchers found a hard threshold. Any wakefulness beyond 15.84 hours in a day produces cumulative neurobiological cost. That cost compounds every single day you exceed it and does not reset with a weekend of sleeping in. Oh my God. So you can't, boomer, you can't get it back. You can't make it up on Saturday, Sunday. You can't do that shit. Around 35% of Americans, around 35% of American adults sleep less than 7 hours a night. 40% of American adults get 6 hours or less. In 1942, that number is 11%. We built an entire professional culture around a sleep schedule that this paper says is functionally equivalent to pulling consecutive all-nighters. I'm fine on 6 hours is the most common response to sleep research. The first thing that chronic sleep debt destroys is your ability to notice chronic sleep debt. So it's I've always been one of those people who says, you know what? I do well in 6 hours because I feel it, right? I'll sleep 6 hours. I'll wake up. I'm I'm good to go. I'll sleep 2 hours. I wake up and I'm terrible. So I feel the difference, right? But maybe it is the case that I just can't tell. Oh my God. I need more sleep, guys. Okay. Listen, we're nearing 6 p.m. That means it's almost dinner time. Naomi should actually be done dinner relatively soon, I think. Done making it. So even though I have a few more links here, maybe I'll just do them next week. You know what I mean? Let's have bedtime with Dev. Not dinner time, it's stream time. No, it's sleep time. I need more sleep. Need more fucking sleep. But listen, guys, thanks for all the support today. Thanks for all the super chats. Thanks for all the everything. I really appreciate it, guys. I really do appreciate it. Hold on a second. Oof, ouch, oof. Dev, why are you leaving? I'm leaving to eat dinner. It's dinner time. You fuck. Who should we raid? Who's around right now? You know what? Let's go raid Carl. Single player Carl. Here. Get your coffees. Single player Carl's a good guy, even if I disagree with him. Is Sargon even streaming? Whatever. I'm not gonna raid Sargon. Let's go raid Carl. Go, like, here, don't leave. Go spam his chat with coffee cups before you click off, okay? And you know what? I will see you next time. Have a good one, guys. I love you.